That's a bootleg. Oh man, sometimes the bootlegs look so good, so I had to get it.
Today I am delighted to be joined by the metal queen, Doro. How are you, Doro?
Hey, very good. I'm all sweaty because we just came off stage, but we had such a great time.
It's been a long time since you've been playing in this part of the world, hasn't it? I think Bloodstock was the last time you were
That's
here.
right, no? Yeah. We want to play here more. It's like always, I have to kick our promoter or like the booker.
Yes.
Yeah, I love England, and it means a lot to me because I was born and raised with the new wave of British heavy metal. So, and so I love playing here. I love the fans, and do more.
I don't know if you know, but this festival is set up in the ethos of the Monsters of Rock, the original Monsters of Rock. Now, this seems so archaic to say. You were the first woman on stage at Monsters of Rock.
I guess the first front woman. Yeah, oh man, I didn't realize it back then. You know. It was awesome because it was our first big festival. We had no idea that it was so huge. Yeah. Because back then, there was no cell phone, no computer, just some fanzines, and we had no idea. We thought maybe it's a small festival, like maybe 4,000 or 5,000 people. And then I hopped on stage, and I think it was like, what was it, 80,000?
60 maybe, yeah, exactly, yeah.
And it was awesome. And then, I think we did pretty good. The fans were like on fire, and it was so great. And then people said, okay, let's give this band a shot, and then we could go on tour with Judas Priest.
Yes.
And it was my favorite band, and it was a dream come true. And we went on tour with Judas Priest in all over Europe in '86.
That's right.
And in England with WASP. And WASP is another band of mine I love. And then the next tour was with Ronnie James Dio. Then we came back here to England, and so the best memories.
The amount of females in rock at the time, it's almost a moot point to talk about it today because it's rightly so.
Yes.
It doesn't matter.
Yes,
but I think you were almost something different because there was none of the sexuality or anything was being. You were just. And I mean this with respect, a singer in a metal band,
Yes, absolutely. And I'm still a metalhead, and yeah. Back then in the 80s, I remember well. Every video had like these sexy girls dancing in the background, and it looked very pretty and sexy, but I think it wasn't so dignified. And, and so I thought, oh no. But I remember I had this one photo session. It was here, and then the photographer said, so now you have to take off your shirt. And I thought, oh, why? Yeah, that's the way to do it. And I thought, oh no, I don't want to do it. But I was so young. I thought, oh man, is that what they expect you to do? And I thought, oh, I really don't want to do it. And then I had my jeans jacket. I put my jeans jacket, and then the photographer was all like, he was frustrated. But I thought, I want to do it like I feel good,
Well, it's obviously worked, and I mean, I'm looking over here, and I can tell just from this bag, Doro's bag, the Triumphant Agony album artwork.
Oh yeah.
I gotta tell you, when I was...
That's a bootleg. Oh man. Sometimes the bootlegs look so good, so I had to get it. And that's still one of my favorite.
When I was 12, 13 years old, that was on my wall, and just the look in her eyes and the way you are,
Yes. Yeah, and
it's
I designed
iconic.
The logo. And,
you designed the logo, did you?
I was a typesetter before, and it's a little bit that it's like made of steel. That's a little bit dolled up, but I did it.
But the imagery that Warlock had, and I'm talking about this, it stood up to Maiden and Dio and all of the.
Yeah, I thought, Eddie of Iron Maiden, the Warlock, and it was, and I still love it, and we still have it in our usually record covers when when it's a metal album or
you have a continuity. I know with I'm going to call it the new Doro logo. It's been there maybe 20 years, and it was on your backdrop today. But there's a real continuity. You're always in the front, and you're like, holding the axe.
Yes, gotta do it, and then the title. we were thinking about the title for this new album, and and then the painter, Jeffrey Gillespie is his name. He's from England actually. He lives in France, but he's an English gentleman. He's great and very creative, and and then he did. I called him and I said, Jeffrey, I have a new album in the making, and it sounds like a metal album, and he said, well, I have something already, and I said, you painted something already? He said, yes. You want to see it? And I said, yes. And then he sent this album cover. You have seen the new one, and there was one album title. He always has some funny things, and some titles where he thought it could fit, and it was called Conquistador, and I thought, oh, that's Spanish, and I thought that sounds so cool, but I don't know if people would know what it is.
So you changed it subtly,
and then we said, maybe Conquistador, conqueror, and then conquerors.
Even better,
So that's the reason how it came about.
Going back to those album covers, and I remember, now you got to remember, I was, I'd say 12, 13, I'm reading Metal Hammer, and this album is there, and I see this picture, and it's for an album called Force Majeure. And then it's years later, it's like, so no, that's not the first Doro album, that's actually kind of a Warlock album. Talk me through that little, that was meant to be, or do you see it as a Warlock album?
Yeah, actually, while we were doing it, suddenly we heard that our manager, it was the first manager in Germany, but he died, and he suddenly took the name Warlock, and we thought, what, and then we went to court, and oh man, it was heavy, it was so stressful, and and the judge, he was totally unfair, we were all like long hair metalheads, and then the manager, he looked like a suit and tie, he looked very, and actually, it was kind of criminal, but he took the name, so that's the reason why the first album, Force Majeure, was called Doro. And I thought, okay, I don't like to do it, but if we have to do it, okay, let's do it. And then I thought, okay, then the next album we will solve the problem. But it took 20 years.
Wow.
20 years that I could use the name Warlock again.
To you, that's a Warlock album, yes?
Yes. We tried to put a little sticker on it. And when we did a tour, then it was Doro, Warlock, but we had to take the poster off. And we got like in trouble again. So it was, but I think many bands, they went through that.
Similar management deals.
Bad deals, Like when you're a teenager, you're so happy to to have a band, to have a record deal, to go on tour. You don't think of the legal stuff. And you're happy when somebody says it's all taken care of, which But I lived and learned.
I have to touch on then what was the first Doro album. It was a very striking cover that was done by a fashion photographer, but also you worked with Gene Simmons and Tommy Tyer was on that. I mean, you did a cover from the Elder album. Talk to me about this period.
I'm a huge Kiss fan. And actually, one time I talked to I had two managers, the one who died and then another one in New York. Alex Grobe was his name, and I said, Alex, you think it would be possible to meet Kiss? And he said, don't drop it, that's like a stupid idea, they don't have any time for that. So then a promoter of the German Monsters of Rock festivals called me, and the guy said, hey Doro, I heard you're a big Kiss fan, would you like to announce Kiss in Germany for the Monsters of Rock festivals in 1989? And I said, oh yes, I would love it. So I flew over to Germany. I was in America, and I flew over to Germany. I introduced Kiss. There was a big deal. My heart was pumping, and it was just the introduction, but still it was a big deal for me. So I met Kiss for the first time, and Gene Simmons was super nice and cool. So a couple of months later, I said to my manager, man, it would be great to do a song together, or maybe I can cover a Kiss song, and and he said, well, it's drop it. He said, that's a total stupid idea. They have definitely no time for that. So a couple of weeks later, my phone rang early in the morning, and usually I'm a night person, so I usually sleep in, as long as I can, and I work all night. So early in the morning, the phone rang, and it was my manager Alex on the phone. He said, "Doro, meet me at the Parker Meridian Hotel in New York City. It's like 53rd or 57th Street." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Well, there's a surprise. Somebody is waiting for you." And I thought, okay. So I went there. I hopped in a taxi, and then my manager was waiting in front of the hotel, and I said, "Alex, please tell me, who is it?" And I thought it's maybe somebody from Germany and stuff. Yeah. He said, "Gene Simmons." And I said, "Oh my God, Gene Simmons, you didn't tell me. I didn't have any makeup on, and I'm a girl in this way." I thought, oh no. So I had to run 3 times around the block. It's a big block. And then we walked in, and Gene was there, and then he said, "So I heard you want to do a new album." I said, "Yes, And then he was very nice, very caring, and he wrote everything down. He said, "Do you have any ideas, and what kind of sound would you like to go?" I was so surprised that somebody was listening. Usually you say something and then people say, yeah. And it was so cool. And then we started working in New York City, and Gene always came to my apartment. I had an apartment in the Village, then Gene was there. We were talking and exchanging ideas. He was playing me some songs he wrote, and then and he let me listen to Only You. And he rewrote the lyrics a little bit, and I thought, I love it. I want to do it. So we recorded Only You, and many songs Gene wrote, and we recorded actually in LA, in the Fortress studio. That was where Kiss recorded Hot in the Shade. And for me, it was a dream come true too. And I could definitely tell you, I could work with all my favorites, all my heroes. I could work with Judas Priest and with Lemmy of Motorhead and Gene Simmons.
What's happening next for you, Doro? What's going on?
We're touring till the end of the year, and then we're working on a new Blu-ray DVD. It's like the 40th anniversary. I did 2 big shows, one in Wacken. It's like this big festival in Germany. I had many guests there, like everybody was there. All the people all the people we love. Yes, and then I did another show in Düsseldorf, my former hometown, and we did another big show. And Elisa White-Clues of Arch Enemy was there, Miller of Creator was there, and many guests. So we're working on this Blu-ray, DVD, live CD, and then next year probably working on a new album, and doing some more festivals, and coming back to England again. So we're working on this. I will definitely tell my booker I want to play here more.
Well, brilliant stuff. Doro, thank you so much for being on Eonmusic.
Yes, thank you, Metalheads. I love you with all my heart, you know that.
You heard it right here.